So the events of January 1st were the catalyst, and through that, a lot of people came to me to offer their support, and they were telling me stories of their abuse and how they never got any justice. And so I joined with some other activists a few months after the event to launch the Peaceful Streets Project to fight this more endemic problem, which typically touches more invisible populations.
Well, I've been an activist for a little over 10 years now, and I've been watching what's taking place with the growing police state. And unfortunately here in Austin, just about every year, especially during the summertime, an unarmed African-American youth is killed by the police. And it's an epidemic, really. We do regular cop watches where people go out and film the police in areas where there's high crimes, like downtown or in some low-income neighborhoods where the police have a tendency to be a little more abusive. Just trying to reach people, educate and inspire them, and encourage them to take action, and let them realize that there's strength in numbers, and there's also strength in knowing your rights and standing up for your rights.
Antonio's case showed that we can win, we can beat them, we can stand up to them, that the community together can be strong enough to topple the corruption within APD. And for the Peaceful Streets Project, we have documented and seen how we alter their behavior. One night while I was down there filming, they almost hit this guy with the horses, and then he got pretty upset with them and popped back at him. And he started going off on them about it, and you could see it in their faces. The officers wanted to pounce on him, but we were on each side filming. And we've directly seen them. They just can't do it. They can't beat people. That's one of the biggest things, regardless of what you find, regardless of what you end up filming, how dull of a night it is, just because you're there, you're far less likely to beat anybody. And that's one of the biggest achievements of cop watching like you can expect.
Relation between APD and Peaceful Streets, I mean, there is a disconnect there. I mean, you have officers who believe, you know, peaceful, and I'm guilty of it, you know, or I was guilty of it, who believe Peaceful Streets is just out there to cause trouble and whatnot. They're there to, you know, try and lure you into doing something that you shouldn't do and then capture it on camera. But the reality is there are things that go on that need to be brought to light, and the only way of doing that is where you have people who have unfettered access to doing so. You know, until officers realize that, it's going to be a long road for both sides. Same thing with Peaceful Streets. I mean, I don't think that they understand the inner workings of, you know, life of a police officer also. And I mean, it's not negative. It's any member of the general public, you know. I mean, it's a different world.
I think that now, with the Mike Brown situation in Ferguson, because it was a police officer, we can address these issues in a way where we can really highlight that racism is a critical ingredient, not the only ingredient by any means, but a critical ingredient in modern day policing, the police state, and we can take that issue on now. There's a lot more work to be done. What we want to do is we don't want to fight individual instances of police abuse. We don't want to change one or two police officers. We want to change the culture of society so that people know their rights, stand up for the rights of one another, and come together to form communities that will protect and serve each other and hold police accountable. That cultural change takes a very long time. Probably takes generations. And what we want to do is we want to play a part in helping to make that cultural shift happen. We'd like to accelerate it as much as possible.
You know, we have a lot, man. Like, it's 7 people on that post, and 5 of them are from right here. Right here, like, you know, so we need to have these same kind of turnouts for stuff that happens and hit us close to home, man.
It's not so subtle if people actually look at the data, right? If people actually look at the disproportionate application of the so-called justice system or law enforcement on certain populations, it becomes really apparent. People of color, homeless people, and the mentally ill are, without question, targeted and attacked.